I was on the weapons team in the United States Air Force, and the reason I was on the weapons team was when we went to go play war and play exercises, then we had to wear full chem gear in Texas in the hot, and I didn't like it. And I am great at figuring out a way to get out of icky stuff, and wearing that chem gear, waiting for some captain to decide that there wasn't a fake chemical attack was silly. And the weapons team, they got to wear a real world 38 on their waist and guard the weapons, and they didn't have to wear that junk. So the downside of the weapons team was when all 100 guys got done playing war, the weapons team had to clean the weapons. And this is an icky part right in here. The little barrel extension and the bolt lugs. I hated cleaning those. In fact, it took me 15 years to come around and actually decide that I wanted to own one of these that I swore I would never have. And Bob just hosed me and gave this to me, and I get to clean the icky part. So I'm going to show you what I do. The first thing I'm going to do here is we got a really nice optic, and I'm going to take this off because I don't want to get any solvents. Bob's got a quick release on here. It'll come off, and there. I don't have to worry about getting any cleaning solvents. You can just be really careful if yours doesn't come off that easy. And we've got a quick and easy method with this little brush for cleaning the bore. This is the chamber area, and if you've attempted to clean your weapon, you know what I'm talking about in here. Now, I like to use Hoppy's number 9 because it smells awesome. And I keep a little bottle. I've had this bottle for 20 years, and I just contaminate this one by dipping and cleaning, and eventually that'll get icky and oogie and yucky, and then I just refill it off of the big one. So I tend to like the Hoppies. So we're gonna come in here from the back with this Skookum chamber cleaning brush. We're gonna stick that in there, and it's wet. We're getting some solvent around in there, and we're just gonna bust loose all of that stuff that we had to clean. Now see, I didn't have the luxury of this. We had to clean this area with toothbrushes. You can clean it with toothbrushes too. And we're just gonna let that set while we go to step number 2. Now, some people are big fans of just a regular cleaning rod like this. This is a regular 22 caliber cleaning rod. If we were going to use a rod, we would do the same thing. We would dip it in Hoppies or our powder solvent or whatever of our choice. And you always clean from the rear to the front. You never clean from the muzzle. And we would run that all the way through and then pull her back, and you would just scrub it up. But you know what? The good folks at Hoppies have came up with a great solution that I just really love, and that is called the bore snake. Now this here particular bore snake, I can tell right now because of the color, isn't going to work. And I'm going to verify it by looking at the end, and it says 30 caliber. Now this would work on my 300 blackout, but it's not going to work on my 5.56. The right one right there. here, I look at it, and it says 2-2. So, it's so easy it almost feels like you're cheating. I like to fold it over right in front of the brushes and soak it down really good with some hoppies. And then we take it and we drop the brass weighted end down into and through the barrel, and then we just pull this thing through. Once again, repeat as necessary. And the last step that I do is I like to take and use some gun oil and soak the tail. So on your very last one, very last pass, you're going to wet down the tail of that boar snake with some lube, whatever the lube of your choice is, and you're going to draw it through there, and it's going to leave a oil residue on there that's going to keep your boar from corroding, keep it nice and wet, lubricated, shiny, and protect that all important rifling. And then we can look through the end of it, and oh, looks like a mirror in there. Since we're in here, we're going to take a look and see what kind of carbon that we have built up. We're going to take some of these Rem Oil cleaning wipes and wipe down the inside of the action. You can see that we're getting a bunch of grit and goo out of there. So you take a pipe cleaner, just like Bob did with the bolt, and we're going to stick that into the gas tube, and we're actually going to pop open the dust cover so you can get to it a little bit easier, at least make it light up a little bit better. And they make these pipe cleaners in a longer one. If you go to your gun store, you can find them in a longer length. That's a lot easier to use than these short ones, but we just had some short ones for this video. And you can run that back and forth in there and clean your gas tube out. Now you remember that icky part I was telling you about? Right behind the bolt lugs and right in front of the, actually right behind the chamber, there's a little recess in there. It's really, really hard to clean. And that's where you get these. These are little, I don't even know what they call them. I just call them AR15 chamber stars. So it's a felt star that'll thread onto the end of your cleaning brush, and you can stick those in there and you can clean all of those bolt lugs. Kind of cleans the feed ramps if you put enough little side pressure on there, and you can work that back and forth and clean all of those lugs just by putting a little bit of sideways pressure or angular pressure on there. And then that space up above there, that little recess, it's really hard to get. You can just spin that star all around in there, clean everything up. It's just the best thing ever. And then you can pull that out. You can look at that in the light. And that is all clean and purty. Tell you what, my Master Sergeant would be proud of that. And that, my friends, is how I clean the barrel and an upper. I'll let Bob put it back together.
Let's all thank Mark for that, sharing his Air Force insight on cleaning the upper receiver. I especially liked it because I didn't have to do it. All right, so we're left now with the lower receiver, and this is actually a pretty easy piece to clean because it stays relatively clean. But I usually like to take, again, like one of these Remington wipes, which have like a Teflon coating on it. Just kind of like to wipe down like the face of the hammer on it, and anything else that might be in here. There's a lot of the dirt is contained into the upper receiver, so it doesn't really get a whole lot into the lower. But you know, we will see that we do get just a little bit of gunpowder on there. But we can just wipe it down real nice and easy, and call it good. So now that we've got the lower receiver complete, we're going to lastly go to the charging handle. We're just going to wipe that down. These pieces actually get quite a bit of powder residue on them, and cleaning these really well will help cut down on the friction. So you clean that up real good. You know, I really like these Remington wipes because they do have a built-in lubricant in them. It's not just a cleaner. And it's got like a Teflon coating, so we can go ahead and wipe this down real good, and everything's going to be ready to reassemble. So we have the lower assembly, we have the bolt, the charging handle, and now back to the upper that Mark did such a fine job of cleaning for us. And so we're going to flip this over, and we're going to start with the charging handle. And we're going to insert this. You'll see that there's two lugs on the charging handle, and there is a matching recess inside the top here. And we're going to line those up. It drops into place. Now we can take our bolt. With the bolt extended, we can slide this in, take our two pieces, and lock them into place like that. So now we have that ready to install. We have the pins on the lower receiver. We're going to open those back up again. Make sure you get both the front and the back. And starting with the front, we're going to line up these holes with that pin. We're going to wiggle that into place. And then with the bolt fully forward, we're going to rock that down and drop that one into place. Weapon check. So anyway, we're ready to rock and roll. Weapons clean, ready to go back in the safe for another fine day of shooting. And thanks for watching.